Hello everybody, it's CJ and we are here tonight to talk about Real Housewives of Potomac. But as always, before we do that, y'all already know what to do. Make sure that you tap that like button on this side and then go ahead and slide on over to the other side and tap that subscribe button. And last step, go ahead and share this video and tell a friend to tell another friend, so we can all be friends. And that's that. So now that all that's out of the way, I hope everybody had a fantastic weekend. My weekend was very, very well. Did a few things, got out in the sweltering heat, but I survived it, and I'm looking forward to vacation next week. So I probably will not post any videos next weekend. I may slide one in perhaps. Don't really know yet, but we shall see. But this was season 6, episode 3, and they called this episode Jiminy Crickets. And y'all, this episode, it was good. It was kind of crazy, but it was definitely a good one nonetheless. The ladies are definitely bringing it this season. But this episode starts out, it's Monday at 8:26 a.m. Robin is still in bed. Her alarm's going off, and you can already see she was trying to hit the snooze button. She didn't even want to pull her head out from under the blankets. We got Juan, who's in the bathroom. I guess he's getting ready for work. Not really sure, but he yells from the bathroom, "Robin, are the boys awake?" And so she then has to get up because she has to go get the kids up and ready for school. So she wakes one of them up, and then she goes and lays back down. Now, this was like 8:30-ish, and Juan comes back out like, "Hey, is the other kid up for school yet?" And she's like, "No, my alarm is probably going off about 3 minutes from now to go and wake him up." He's like, "Robin, how is it that, he has to be signed in and ready for school at 9 o'clock and you can't wake him up? You can't wake up at 8:57 to get him up for school at 9 o'clock. And so she has an attitude, and she gets up, gets the other kid ready for school. And you can hear the teacher telling him, your mom, make sure that your mom has you ready for school on time. This is your job, basically. So something tells me that Robin has made it a habit of not getting them signed on to virtual learning, on time. So Juan is tired of her excuses. He is over this. He already let it be known, the other week that she's in bed all day. It's not a good look, and he just expects so much more from her. But Robin tells us that she's burned out. She didn't expect for this pandemic to last as long as it's lasted. And with the boys being in school, her having to cook all the time, and, with basketball practices and everything, she says that she is just burned out. So hopefully she can get out of this funk soon, but she just doesn't have any energy, and her fiance is over it. So then we go to Karen. Karen's at home with Ray. Ray's helping her set up for what looks like a virtual meeting that she's going to have with some of her La Dame wig customers. I guess the wig business has been very good to Karen, and she is meeting with a few of her customers to kind of go over some of her new glueless wig products, or glueless wigs, that she's got coming out. Now we see Giselle, and Giselle meets Ashley for lunch, and Giselle is asking Ashley, is she concerned about Michael, because when Ashley had baby Dean, we know that scandal came up, the hotel room scandal with Michael and his skivvies, just back there with the woman, and he, was being unfaithful to Ashley, and we all know how that played out last season. But Ashley says that no, she's not really worried with the new baby coming because she's got a nanny, and she also knows that Michael does not want to jeopardize his family in that way anymore. So she just kind of feels like he's not going to do anything to disrespect her or stepping outside of their marriage. Now, she, being Ashley, brings Giselle up to speed on what happened at the love party, because we know Giselle didn't want a thing to do with that event, especially since it was thrown by Karen. So she is telling Giselle about what Mia said about her not being a good person because she wished death on Karen's husband. And Giselle was kind of, confused about that and wants to know if Mia is a flip-flopper, because even after that, Mia was texting her and Robin, Happy Valentine's Day and XYZ. And, she's acting like nothing happened. And so Giselle says that she definitely plans on talking to Mia about this at some point. And she tells Ashley that she wants to throw her a pamper party. And Ashley is very, pumped up about that. Basically, this is just an event where the ladies will get together at some sort of spa, and they'll get pampered in honor of Ashley and the new baby that she's about to have. So we go to Robin, who is very behind on her embellish shipments. So she asks her friend, Oskala, I think her name's Oskala. I'm not sure, but very beautiful girl nonetheless. Sorry, I tore her name up. I'll do better, I promise. But she asks her to help her, and she comes over. And Robin says that this was actually the perfect opportunity for her to get out of the house, because the boys, they can't come. They don't have a driver's license. They can't drive to where she is. So she used this as a getaway as well. So Wendy also shows up to help. And she tells Robin, they start talking about business and everything. And she brings up to Robin that she herself wants to start this candle line. And Robin is just kind of wondering where, this came from, because last she checked, Wendy was, the political correspondent or analyst or, whatnot. Home Essentials was never, a part of the conversation when it came to Wendy. So she was kind of confused about that. Oh, I forgot to mention that Robin invited Oskala to the party, to the pamper party that Giselle was throwing for Ashley too. And she seems like a really sweet girl, and she definitely seems very, very likable. So if she is going to be like a friend of the show, I am very interested in seeing her, just because she seems to bring a really calm, decent energy. So I'm looking forward to seeing what she has to offer. So then we go back to Mia. We see Mia, she's at home with G, and she gets a text from Giselle inviting her to the party also. And she and G are just kind of recapping, what went down between her and Wendy at Karen's party. And so we go back to the warehouse / embellish hat store, and Robin is asking Wendy, why didn't she have Giselle's back when Karen and Giselle were going at it? And Wendy basically tells her that she did not want to get in the middle of that, and she didn't want to create an environment where it seemed like everybody was ganging up on Karen. And we see that Wendy and Karen are sort of developing a better relationship than they had last season. Last season, it seemed like Wendy was just like, okay, I need to get with the popular chicks. And if all the popular chicks are against Karen, then that's kind of the direction that I need to go in as well. And then we do admit that Karen was paying she was being a little weird towards Wendy, talking about she didn't know her and all this other stuff when they served on several boards together. And she very well knew who that woman was, but it did come off as Wendy was, taking sides, and she automatically went with popular opinion and did kind of go against Karen last season. But this season, she's a completely different person. Zim Win is like, no, if the beef is between A and B, it needs to stay between A and B. C, D, and E don't need to be jumping in on A, with B, blah, blah, blah. So, and Robin is just dumbfounded by this, because why on earth would anybody want to stay out of an argument when it comes to Giselle, when it comes to defending Giselle? I mean, she is just like so in disbelief that somebody wouldn't jump on the Giselle train with her, because she even says, because the Wendy I met last year would have been all over it or whatnot. So she knows that they do play this jumping game, but Wendy's just not down for it. And she just says, I'm Zim Win. So then we go to Candace, and she's at the house with Chris and the kids. She gets a FaceTime from her mom, Dorothy, or Dot. And she tells Dot, that she is meeting with Karen, and she's expecting Karen to admit that she was wrong for defending Monique's behavior last season. And once she does that, they can move on. Everything will be peachy keen. They can pick up where they left off, and they're going to let bygones be bygones, because she is ready to move forward. So she also tells her mom that her husband, Chris, is serving as her manager as well. And she didn't like her mom's reaction to that, because all her mom did was kind of laugh and just say, good luck. And she was very, very, offended by that. She felt like it was like a passive aggressive kind of, response. And she just wants her mom to mind her business. So then we see Wendy. Wendy goes to visit Karen. Now, Wendy knows that one thing that Karen does really well is business. And she knows that she can learn a lot from Karen, because Karen had the La Dame, the fragrance, and she also is doing quite well with this wig line. So she needs to kind of pick Karen's brain, or have Karen serve as this mentor for her, because she wants her to help her get her candle business off the ground and sort of give her the tools that she needs to make this a successful product. So she goes to see her, and they're both wearing jumpsuits, by the way, and it didn't seem to be planned, but it was cute enough. And Wendy feels, again, that Karen is the one that she needs to go to for help. She didn't go to Giselle. She didn't even go to Robin, who seems to be doing quite well with her embellish line. She wanted to go to somebody who she knows can have long-term success in this game, I guess. And so they definitely seem to be in a much, much better space than they once were, because we know they did not get along upon initial introduction to the show. But now we see Karen and Wendy have a different level of respect for one another, and I really do like to see them getting along. And Karen is asking her questions, what's the budget? She said, whatever it is, you need to double that. And Karen is also, wanting to see the product. And Karen asks her, well, what is going to make me want to buy this product over all the other candles that are out there? And she's asking the tough questions. Wendy just tells her that she's got a paragraph written for her business plan so far. Karen's like, that's not enough. You got some work to do. And she's asking her the questions, and Wendy's getting a little squeamish because she was not prepared for this. But I think she's definitely in good hands. And I think that Karen will definitely lead her in the right direction when it comes to making that money. So Mia's back at home with the family, and She tells her husband that her mom, her birth mom, is coming to visit, I guess the weekend or whatnot. And we learn a little bit about Mia's background. We learned that her parents were on drugs and gave her up, to the foster care system. And she didn't have the easiest life. And she went through a lot because she felt rejected. Her mom never came back for her. And she wants to know when her mom comes, she wants to have that discussion about why she never came back for her. So we'll get to see a little more about that once, her mom visits. So then she finally goes to see Candace. They seem a little awkward. Well, Karen does, because it's been a while. She doesn't really know where Candace's head is, when it comes to her. She knows there's a lot of water under the bridge, and she just is unsure at this moment. So you could kind of tell, she's like, oh, are we sitting in the, in the here at the bar, sitting here in the kitchen? And so it was just like really strange to see her. She was very, very unsure. So she knows that she has missed many, many milestones in Candace's life since this whole Candace Monique incident went down, and she wants to get back to some sort of friendship with Candace. She misses Candace, and she wants them to work on getting back to the way that they once were. Now, she asks, Candace basically tells her that they need to define what their friendship is gonna look like moving forward. She knows that it probably will not be at the level that it once was, but they need to kind of discover where they will be going forward. And so Karen tells her that she would not have done anything differently if she could do it all over again. That's not what Candace wanted to hear at all. So at this point, Candace has checked out of the possibility of making things right between she and Karen. She says that she'll be cordial and keep it cute, and kiki, but as far as them building and becoming even close to what they once were, is not going to happen. She does not consider Karen a friend. Karen's not capable of being a friend as far as she's concerned. And she says that she wants nothing to do with her in that capacity. So it's the day of Ashley's pamper party. Candace arrives first because Giselle is setting up and getting everything ready. And she wanted to kind of catch her up on what she and Karen talked about when Karen came over. Of course, Giselle just thinks that Karen was completely wrong for saying that she would not have done anything different. And we know they hate each other anyway, so I didn't expect for Giselle to feel any other way about it. Now, Wendy arrives next, and Giselle is annoyed because Wendy is still showing off her boobs, showing off her new body. Go and get you one. You can show it off too. I mean, quit hating. So then Robin shows up third. Ashley shows up next, and Oscilla comes bearing gifts. She gave Ashley a bottle of champagne because she said that after she had her baby, the first thing that she wanted was a glass of champagne. So Ashley was like, well, I don't really drink champagne, because we know Ashley drinks Coronas. We know she's a Corona girl, so she's not really sure about this champagne. And everybody tells her, oh, it's a good champagne. She got you the good stuff. And so that was a cute little scene. So Karen comes, and she and Giselle intentionally ignore one another. They did not greet each other. They didn't look each other's way. It was just like neither one of them were in the room, to the other. So that was crazy. And then Mia shows up last. They play this cute game about guess the baby bump. Giselle had each woman send her a picture of them pregnant, and they were gonna have the group guess whose, baby bump it was. That was a cute little game nonetheless. And it was funny because when they showed Candace, everybody, when they saw the stomach or the hand on the stomach, they were like, what? And it was Candace. She was actually like at a mic, like singing or doing like a voiceover or something. And they all got a cute little laugh out of that. But she said, I was pregnant with possibilities, or pregnant with opportunities, or something like that. But it was cute enough. So then the masseuse comes and she takes Ashley and Oscar away first. And once she did that, it was like all hell started to break loose, so to speak, because Mia and Wendy, they go at it again because they're talking about how Mia had her hand in Wendy's face, and Candace, chimes in and says, I don't, people can see that as an act of aggression. That can be a threat, you putting your hand in somebody's face and then saying, what are you going to do about it? And Mia's just like, well, I talk with my hands, so y'all are just going to have to get used to that. And Wendy was like, no, we're not going to get used to that. And they're still arguing. And Zen Wen is not quite Zen at this moment because she is not playing any games with Mia. I mean, she is going at Mia and going at Mia hard. And, Giselle is trying to ask Mia about, this flip-flopping business, but it's kind of hard for her to get her question in because Wendy is going so hard at Mia. Mia gets up and Mia's like, you know what? I ain't got time for this, and walks away. And so Wendy's dismissing Mia. It was just a mess. So Giselle checks Wendy, about not allowing people to talk when they're going at it. She's like, you got to give the other person a chance to respond. You just, hammering and hammering and hammering. It does nothing because nothing gets solved, nothing gets worked out, nothing gets explained because the only person that is talking is you. And so Wendy was like, well, you didn't hear Mia say something. I forgot what it was. And Giselle was like, yeah, we couldn't hear anything because all we could hear was you. You wouldn't let anybody talk. And so Wendy was kind of in her feelings about that because she said the only reason that she was going so hard was because she was defending Giselle. And obviously the loyalty is one-sided in this instance because she was the only one. She was defending Giselle, and Giselle basically reprimanded her or was, getting on her because she didn't let Mia respond. So she was feeling some kind of way about that. Then they all regather. Everybody regroups. They're back in the room. And Mia eventually admits that she was a stripper after becoming a bartender at the strip club, but she says that it wasn't one of those strip clubs where you walk around in the G-string and the bra or the bikini or whatever they wear. They wore gowns. And Ashley was like, I've been to strip clubs where they wear gowns. She was like, and half the time the coochie portion is cut out, they got pasties on their nipples, the titty region is cut out, it's not classy like she's trying to make it seem. They bust it open in those gowns as well. So Giselle oddly leaves before the party is over. She's the first to leave. And of course, Karen has something to say about that. She was just like, Giselle ain't a good host. She ain't a good this. So, and lastly, it ended with Oscar wanting to pray for Ashley and the baby. And so that was really cute. That's where the episode ended. Next week looks like it's going to be really good as well. If I left anything out, y'all already know, leave it in the comments as well. And that's it for the rest of the weekend. I have done a few videos. Make sure if you have not already done so to go check out my Raising Canaan video. I also did a Love After Lockup, and What else did I do? Oh, Love and Marriage Huntsville. Yeah, I did those 3 earlier and Potomac right now. So I hope that you all have a great week. Like I said, I may not see you this upcoming week, but I'll definitely see you the week after that. Again, don't forget to like, comment, share, whatever. And I thank y'all, and I will see y'all in the next video. Peace.